Still Got Games, brought to you by ThinkGeek and the Craft Beer Club. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still Got Game, episode 338. Still Got Games, official podcast of ToolPlay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel, Dude I Rock, Albert.
And we have hobbled together a show tonight.
That's right.
It is shoestring. Like, if you look down there, all our numbers are wrong for the show number. It's not our best. But it's better than nothing.
It's a non-hit scenario. Therefore, we do what we can. We go back to the very beginning of time as if we have just learned how to use XSplit and start pushing buttons and hope that they're the right ones.
Yeah, Hit does not provide us with the Canadian calendar of holidays, so all of a sudden he's like, what the fuck, guys? I can't do a show. You know, it's a holiday, eh? And we're like, no, we actually didn't know.
Like, no one knows that other than you. You're literally the only one that knows that, so you have to tell us.
Yes.
That's how that works.
Yes. But we are here, and we're going to try to crank through this episode so you get to look at this shitty episode less. So the faster we go, the less of us you have to watch. Audio version people probably sounds great after I level 8 this and Jay's voice comes up. Mine goes down. We sound the same. But here, Jay's whispering into the whole show.
I'm whispering, yes.
All right, well, Jay, why don't we just hop right into the show proper? We'll start off with feedback from last week's show. Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Tasha comments, I just recently discovered your show on iTunes and have quickly become a fan. I listen to 5 gaming podcasts each week, and yours seems to be the most fun.
I wonder what the other 4 are.
I don't know.
I'd like to know, because I want to know like who we're being compared to. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah,
like, what if they're all just pure shit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, are there any like AAA podcasts there?
Yeah, right. Is there something that I'll be impressed by? Like, oh wow, we were a step above X. Or
one's her little brother's podcast.
Right, exactly. One's her own podcast. She just like really hates it. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah. All right, Tasha, let us know. Let us know who we're competing with and what makes us the most fun. Just, you can pontificate on your initial comment, and we'll also use that on the show, and you'll be famous twice. So. All right. Ritza13 comments. Cool show, but your erratic schedule is kind of pissing me off. I know the podcast is free and all, but would it kill you guys to do a show every week?
Free doesn't matter anymore is the thing, right? Like, and I understand that because I saw this comment, and like last week, I think I listened to Bill Burr's podcast like all the time. And like, he didn't have a podcast for like a week. And I was like super pissed. I remember being like, what the fuck, man? Is it that hard for him to get off his ass and do one podcast? And then I was like, oh, shit, that's me. And then I almost felt like, you know what? You should never do a podcast again. Like, I feel like I know how much of a pain in the ass it is, so he really doesn't have to do it anymore, in my opinion, if he didn't want to. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's we try. We really try, Ritza. And we know that it's sad when the show is not there. Because I, too, listen to podcasts, and I'm sad when they're not there. I don't know if I ever actually let those people know that they're pissing me off, but...
yeah, like I didn't tweet anything either myself. I just sort of like sucked it up and went about my life because it's a podcast, right? Yeah. Like that's...
Yeah. You went that extra mile. You stepped out and you called us out on it. So,
right. Yeah.
I guess that's a good thing. That's what we strive for, is this audience interaction.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. All right, but we'll do our best. We always aim to do as many in a row as possible, and sometimes shit doesn't work. And last but not least, Night comments. I'm totally gelling with your new expanded after show stuff. Would you guys ever consider taking live phone calls during that part of the show?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I think we've like discussed it before, but really like your best avenue is probably just to be in chat. Like, if you're going to go through the trouble of calling in, you're probably just best being in chat. Now, it would be kind of cool to get voice call-ins, but here's the thing. This is a shoestring budget we're working on here. And one thing we can't do is screen calls before we get them. So, as much as I would love to do that, I just don't need, like... I don't
Fuck care. You guys, you fucking suck, you piece of shit.
I don't care enough about this to deal with that. So, like, it's just not really worth the time, I suppose. But it's a lot easier on it anyway if you just come into chat, and then you could call us assholes straight from chat. It's not going to matter. You don't need to dial in. But if you dial in, it sort of like stops the show. And because we don't know what it is that you're going to say, we don't really know how we're going to respond to that, and we don't know if it's going to be something we even want to hear. So it's just kind of the unknown is It's probably never going to happen, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Now, who knows? Maybe in the future there'll be a point where Hit can answer a call while we're just doing the show, and he can queue someone up, and then he can let us know. He's like, guys, the next call is going to be Paul from Albuquerque, and he wants to talk to you about the Destiny expansion. And then we're like, hey, we got Paul from Albuquerque on the line. Wants to talk a little bit about Destiny. What's going on, Paul?
And then Paul's like, I just wanted to call and see your faggots. I does it anyway, right? Like, because that's what would happen.
Fakes his way through the screen.
Right, he goes through the whole process just to, be
and we don't have that 7-second delay button.
Right.
No, we're live. We go live hardcore. So, but who knows? Maybe someday we'll figure this out and we'll take live calls. Other than that, if you want to participate in the show and give us your questions live, hop in chat and do it that way. And if any of you want to give us awesome feedback like this, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@toolsplay.com. And in site-related news, I got nothing. Jay, I know you've got nothing.
Nope.
And so I guess we'll just meander right on over to what we're playing. Joel, Dude, I Rock Albert, what have you been playing this week?
I haven't played anything this week. So this week's been like super busy for me, which kind of blows. And also at the same time, I've been waiting for a couple things, namely Overwatch, which released today, about an hour ago.
An hour and a half, yeah.
And which I haven't played yet because I just got home. And also then tomorrow, The Division has their patch out too. So for like the last 2 weeks, I'd say I kind of had nothing to do. I was waiting for the Division patch at the same time, waiting for Overwatch.
Now you've got everything to do.
Now I got too much to do. Right. And no time to do it. So I don't know. Hopefully I'll have some time to play. But yeah, this week was a no-go for me. What about, I mean, I'm assuming Division? No, I mean Destiny for you?
Yeah, I played I do my minimal Destiny stuff each week. Do the raid, do the COE. And now, obviously, Overwatch, we pre-ordered it. It was already downloaded. The kids have already been playing it, but I've been getting ready for the show. But as soon as the show's over, I think I'm going to bust out a little Overwatch and relax with that. And it should be nice and relaxing. And then this week will just be a mix of Overwatch and Destiny.
Yeah, I don't know. Overwatch, I'm kind of excited to play it. I don't really... It's one of those things where I think like most of our group that actually started playing it with the intention of buying it, most of them are not going to buy it. So,
wow.
Yeah, and anyone that is going to buy it actually all moved to PC. So I think there's like maybe 4 of us that are all PC that are going to play it. Mm-hmm. I did not like the console version. I felt like the controls were so bad, but that's just me. And it could be because I played it on the PC first during beta and then switched to console to play it, and because things felt so clunky because it's a console and you're playing it in FPS. I think that just shied me away from it, so I ended up buying the PC version anyway. Plus, I got this rig. I might as well use it. That's the other
You may as well, yes.
So it'll be interesting. I'm not like super hyped for it. I don't care about it, as weird as that sounds. But I will totally play it. It's a game that I spent the money on, and I have every intention in playing, and I also think it's a really good game, but I just don't... I'm not like, can't wait. It's just a good game. It's a good filler game.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's how I want to use it too. It's a filler for a time that I have nothing else to do because it's fun for that. But all right. Well, on that, Jay, why don't we jump on over into the new releases? First new release out this week is a multi-platform release, and it is Overwatch, and it's out for the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC. This is Blizzard's long-awaited squad-based first-person shooter. The game features over 20 unique characters split between offense, defense, support, and tanking roles, and they all have their own unique looks, which is nice. The graphical style is real fun. It's kind of reminiscent of TF2, has that semi-cartoony, semi-realistic type of vibe going for it. There's no early review scores out for this yet, but the game was super well received in the beta. I think they had 10 million downloads during the beta, so that's not bad at all.
I was muted. This is what happens when I have to do 5 things at once. I mean, we kind of already went over it, but we both are buying it. Several people I know are really excited to play it, and it's a Blizzard game. I don't think I've ever really had a Blizzard game that I haven't had fun in, so I don't really suspect this will be any different. It is for sure a filler game for me, but I don't think that's a bad thing. The great part about Overwatch is there is nothing to do in the game. And what I mean by that is literally you play for 30 minutes, you log off, and that's it. There's no like, I need to do this every Wednesday and Thursday by 5 o'clock before the reset happens. You just go in and you shoot people, and then you log off.
Yeah, if you want to unlock the unlocks, you can. You can get your sprays and everything else. Right. But there's no benefit to them. There's no disadvantage to them. So
no,
it's nice.
It's a nice breakup from the normal way.
It's like the old
games
days
have gone.
before we had.
Right. The games now are like everyone must quit their job. You better pray you have an extra Monday to spare because this weekend you're going to need 3 days to do that. Yeah, so it's nice. It cuts all that bullshit out. But at the same time, we've come so accustomed to it that I can't bring myself to care because, again, the investment is rather low. It's that I go in and I shoot people and then that's it. So, But yeah, it's looking good.
Very nice. All right, well, the only other new release out this week is out for the PC, and it is Total War Warhammer. This is the latest in the Total War series of real-time tactics turn-based strategy games. It's the first time that it's not set in a historical time period, but rather in Games Workshop's Warhammer universe. Graphically, the game looks great, and the gameplay is super solid. It's been getting great review scores in the high 8s, low 9s. It is not my type of game. I know people that love the Total War series of games. I don't actually, to be honest, I don't know if people that are huge fans of Total War will like going to something fantasy in the Warhammer universe versus the Total War stuff they've been doing. But it's a super popular series, and this one seems to be getting review scores to match.
You know, I used to love Total War. Actually, believe it or not, it was so long ago though. But I'm at that point now where I probably wouldn't care about it. But I love the Warhammer franchise. It's one of those things that I wish they made a great game out of it. They made, if you guys remember, there was an MMO that came out that was like could have been good. Yeah. They had all the RVR stuff from the previous ones, and it looked like it could have really been an awesome thing. It ended up not being good.
Yeah, I remember a bunch of our raid teams switched over to trying to play that. And
it was like the DAOC guys. So like those developers, originally built it and carried on some of the pieces from that game over to this one, but it just didn't. It never gelled correctly. Never did well. But I love the Warhammer universe. I think it's a really cool universe. So I'm hoping this gains steam because if it does, then maybe the IP itself can sort of be resurrected. And I think there's a lot of fans out there that wouldn't mind to have a really awesome Warhammer game. So
that's very true. Yeah, it's like the backdoor way to get what you want.
Totally.
Give the Total War geeks what they want, and maybe you get what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's good to see it just coming out. But yes, I'm not a buyer either.
All right, well, that's good to know. All right, Jay, well, on that, why don't you get your vocal cords ready because we're going to hop over into gaming news. First story!
All right, first story. So this one's a doozy. I actually didn't even know about this until I read this title, which was, 3 seconds ago? Yeah, so this is happening. Halo 5 Windows 10 debut to include 4K support and online multiplayer. This is via Ars Technica. Man, this is fucking crazy. I never thought I'd see the day. Microsoft's play to bridge the gap between the Xbox One console and Windows 10 PC got a lot more interesting on Thursday thanks to a pretty major Halo 5 announcement. Microsoft and its Halo development house, 343 Industries, have been taking their wraps off an awkwardly named, which I agree, Forge Halo 5 Guardians Edition. Yes, Forge-Halo 5, that's the title. Which they say will launch for free across Windows 10 later this year. The limited free version of Halo 5 won't include, this is a lot of won'ts, won't include the game's single-player campaign, nor will it include multiplayer matchmaking with random opponents. I guess you're probably wondering, what is it going to include? Well, Microsoft representatives have confirmed that the free Windows 10 game will support unfettered online play with anyone on a player's friends list. This is a very fucked up and specific thing, which makes it very odd. But it's cool, it's free, so you can't really complain. So that means that players can create or download a Forge map, invite anyone else to play on Windows 10 version to join in and play whatever kill count, time limit, or other win conditions that you guys have set up. So even better, Microsoft says that the friends-only multiplayer mode in Windows 10 fully supports a mouse and keyboard. This is bizarre to read. A series of fans, as serious fans, I believe is what that's supposed to say, or series fans, I guess that makes sense. As series fans know, Halo Forge's mode allows players to build content-filled maps and lay down a litany of custom rules and modifiers for the game. So this Windows 10 version as its lengthy title suggests, will allow people to do the same thing on their PCs complete. This is fucking awesome. With mouse and keyboard support that 343 Industries says will be easier and faster to use than the Xbox controller. I undoubtedly believe that is true, and this is awesome because it's kind of bringing PC map creation to the PC for Halo, which is something that I always thought was sorely needed. So hopefully they get even more tools. That would be really cool. But in short, the free multiplayer is coming to Windows 10. Sure, it's the friends-only list restriction, a Forge-only rule, and a lack of convenient auto-matchmaking, but it doesn't sound like it's a bad freebie for a PC gaming set. And the more important part is that it marks the first Halo Online multiplayer game with mouse and keyboard support since 2007's port of Halo 2, which I played to death.
Me too.
And it was amazing. The announcement also confirms support for up to resolutions of 4K, so you'll actually be able to see what Halo 5 really should look like. And the ability to publish Windows 10 creations for play on the game's Xbox One version. This is also a big deal. But of course, there is no mention of cross-multiplayer support, which I think makes a lot of sense. The PC people would shit all over the console folks. So, wow.
This is cool.
This was Thursday? I didn't hear about this till just now. That's why I like doing the show like this, right? I literally have no clue. Because I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Who knew?
Yeah, this is cool news, because you think of all the cool shit that people make in Forge, and those people have had to make it using a fucking Xbox controller. They have had to use a fumbly UI, using the bumpers and other buttons to pick the pieces they want, to rotate them, to place them down. Now imagine giving them the full complement of a PC to be able to go and pick and choose their pieces, drop them down, move them around. It's using a keyboard and mouse is so much better. I think the quality of maps you're going to see come out of this are going to be insane. And I think that the ability to play them on PC is kind of just like an added side bonus that came as part of this, because you have to be able to obviously play test your maps. So they built that in, and they said, okay, well, we might as well allow multiplayer with your friends, because sometimes you're going to need to have more than one person to try them out. And it's kind of a nice backdoor, and it's fucking free. So I think this is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see a scenario where this would ever be bad. It's free, which, again, this is their main franchise. This is like what Xbox is, right? Yep. I have not been a fan of Halo 5. I'm a fan of the game, but I'm not a fan of the series anymore. It's the best Halo they've come out with, but I just don't play it. And it's not that it's bad. It's actually probably the best thing they've had since Halo 3. So that's saying a lot. But the fact that they're giving it away for free on the console, again, you have to have your friends list, but you probably have one already. And playing customs with your friends can be fun. I suspect that as time goes on, depending on how this thing gels out, there probably will be a paid version where you get more of the features that you want. I could be wrong, but it just seems like this is sort of the canary in the coal mine for them. This is the harbinger of things to come. So hopefully if things go well, then that would be awesome. We'll start to see a Halo franchise make it over to the PC.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the next Halo game came out on both.
Me neither, because it's a great way for them to promote Windows 10. It's a way to because now they're in a market where they're actually trying to compete with Apple again over OS space in computers. Computer sales are down, except for gaming PCs are up. It's one of the only markets where they're selling more PCs than they did in the past, whereas general PC consumption in terms of buying a new one for your house, not for gaming, is way down. So it's a good way to sort of, okay, now we got this franchise that sells systems, so why not push that over to the Windows platform, which would make a lot of sense. So yeah, it's good all around for sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Speaking of Bungie, oh wait, no, that's 340. Destiny's next expansion will maybe be called, it says called, but I don't know if that's really ever been confirmed, but possibly called Rise of Iron. This is via joystick and Engadget. So ignoring the welcomed update last month, things have been pretty quiet on the Destiny's front, and that is because Bungie has turned its attention to developing a sequel, which is slated for next year. Hopefully sometime next year. They have already pushed it back once. However, with E3 fast approaching, news of a promised new, smaller expansion has already started to slip out. According to a leaked poster shared on Reddit, the name of the next DLC expansion for Destiny will be called Rise of Iron, and it is set to land likely, quote, quote, in September. The upcoming expansion will likely, quote, quote, focus. I got to keep saying this because this is not confirmed, so don't quote us on this. But it will likely focus on the Iron Lords and the Iron Wolves. The Lords of the Wolves represented two groups of 9 guardians. The Iron Lords helped build the wall around the last city, and were joined by the Iron Wolves in defense of the last city against the Fallen at the Battle of the Six Fronts. Now,
that's a lot of lore.
You're wondering where this lore is coming from. It's coming from a grimoire card somewhere that I don't have. Nor do I care to get. So I don't even know where this info... This could all be bullshit, because I know nothing of the storyline of Destiny, because they love to hide it in little
behind
cards.
A grimoire card,
Yes. So if you played Iron Banner, PvP, you notice that the tournament bears the Iron Lord sigil, and that Iron Guardians lent their names to weapons available in the game, like the Fellwinter's Lie, the Radgast Fury, and the Jolder's Hammer, to name a few. Oh, and Iron Banner Captain, of course, Lord Saladin, is seen brandishing a flaming axe on the front of a partially destroyed wall in the poster. Kotaku reports that the Rise of Iron expansion will feature a new raid, which, again, they don't know for sure, which was originally scheduled to drop earlier this year and will be larger than the 2 DLCs that landed in the game's first year combined. That's what they're saying. Let's pray that's true. That only means that there will be new missions and higher light levels, keeping you sweet. That was the worst phrase.
It's joystick X and gadget for you.
Kite until Destiny 2.0 arrives, hopefully in 2017. A lot of this is hearsay, but obviously I think the poster does pretty much confirm the title at least.
Yes. Yeah, I would say, because that would be a pretty elaborate poster for someone to craft. Yes.
I don't know if you'd want to do that, but I guess you could if you wanted to be a super dick. But no, I mean, this is sort of what everyone is waiting for. I think again, I was a hardcore Destiny player again after I had put it down for a couple months from a previous expansion. And I'm bored as shit. I don't care about the new patch. It means nothing to me. I have no joy left in the game. So this is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a new raid. September sounds likely. I would probably say that if they were going to do anything, it would have to be at least by September, if not sooner.
Yeah. Yep. So, that would fall in their 2-year.
Right, that would be their 2-year. Yeah. So what do you, I mean, you're stoked, right?
I'm stoked. Believe me, I love Destiny. I want to love it more, but there's not enough for me to love right now. So this is going to fill in the missing love.
Yeah, and I hope it's as good as I want it to be. I hope it's my real hope is that they're actually going to do something really extravagant, and we're going to get a Vault of Glass-like raid, very, very large. I want more bosses. If I can get them to do double the bosses, that would be really sweet. Things like that.
Twice the size of the other 2 expansions is a pretty big fucking size.
It's a big size, yeah. Yeah, so I guess we'll see, but it's that type of news you hear, and it's like one of the things now where I'm actually excited for E3, and that just goes to show you how good of a game that I think Destiny is, because to be excited about a game that is X amount of years old is very rare. It usually only happens for like Warcraft and a couple other games for me. So Destiny has a lot of staying power, and I think a lot of people are feverishly excited to see what they're going to actually come out with. So I'm stoked.
Most definitely.
For sure.
All right, next story.
Speaking of E3, the poor man's version, E3 Live invites the general public, the plebes, to experience E3 for once in their lives. For the first time in history, E3 organizers are opening up the show, kind of, to the general public with the creation of a spin-off consumer event called E3 Live, taking place at the LA Live Entertainment Complex just across the street from the main building, in case you felt like you were actually a part of E3. It will feature live demos, live entertainment, exclusive merchandise, meet and greets, and quote-unquote industry personalities like Derek Nolan. Could be there.
Derek T. Smooth Nolan in the house.
Right. The event will run alongside E3 from June 14th to June 16th. I can't go because I'm getting married. It's sad. And will be free for all attendees. Tickets are non-transferable and being handed out through Eventbrite. That's kind of ghetto. On a first-come, first-served basis. Those who manage to snag a ticket will also be given a chance to attend the Pokemon Kill Yourselves Symphonic Evolution video game concert. Don't go to that. If you're an adult, don't go. Quote, we are excited to introduce E3 Live, an exciting high-energy video game event that brings some of the best in the video games industry directly to the fans, said Michael D. Gallagher, president and CEO of E3 organizer and owner of the ESA. You know them from all of your ratings. Quote, E3 Live will give gamers the chance to test drive exciting new games, interact with some of their favorite developers, and be among the first in the world to enjoy groundbreaking game experiences. Although there's been no official word on what games will actually be playable at E3 Live, a press release listing current partners suggests you'll see some Ubisoft, you'll see some Oculus, you'll see some Warner Brothers. They'll all be there. What do you think about that? I think this is...
I fucking hate this.
This is lame.
Yeah.
This is lame. This is worsening the thing we keep talking about.
Yeah, this is... What they're doing is E3 is crowded enough. When you want to go over to LA Live and get some food, it's hard enough. And now they're going to fill LA Live with the unwashed masses. So you still have the same crowd going to E3, and now you're bringing in a whole crowd of noobs to fill up the space there. It's just, this is lose-lose.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wins on this. I really don't. This is one of those things. Look, if you want to go to E3, go to PAX.
Yeah.
For a consumer-based event that is driven directly for you. And this is what I feel about this. We're going to get into this for a separate question that was asked, but it feels like they're trying to get the PAX people now, like they're trying to steal away what brain to power has been sent over to PAX and bring those consumers now back to E3. I think it's also just a shitty thing to do. I think you're an industry event. That's what you're billed as. That's what you should be until you're not. If you decide we're not doing this anymore, we are now consumer, everyone can come. It's a huge giant
like when they did E3 for all.
When they did E3 for lames, yes. They can do that, and they should do that if they want to, but they should not bifurcate like this. This is stupid. And certainly they should not be on the same day.
Oh, no, this in the same place at the same time?
That place is a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. It really is. Yep. And to add more people into that event is just stupid. This is stupid. I'm sorry.
I agree. This should have been the what the fuck story.
It should have. This is terrible. Terrible for E3, in my opinion, and what they are and why you go there. It just dilutes it. So yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Yep. Not a fan either.
All right, next story. Oculus Rift. This is also very what the fucky. Oculus Rift's anti-piracy update allows for even more piracy. What? Via IGN. So, an Oculus security update seen by many to be a response to Revive, which is a mod that allows players to play Oculus Rift exclusive games on their HTC Vives, has backfired, allowing for full-scale piracy of all games on the Oculus. This is weird. Talking to Motherboard, which is a website, Revive's secret developer, Libre VR, explained the update, which now includes a pre-game launch check to see if an Oculus is being used to actually play it, will actually allow for the entire security check to be bypassed. So they have a patch that comes out that's supposed to check to see if the unit that you're using is an Oculus. That check allows you to then go around all of the other system checks for the game's itself's piracy, right? So the DRM, they just skip it. It's not good. It means that Revive can now technically be used to stop the system being able to tell if a copy of a game itself was actually acquired. So on Reddit, Libre VR said, quote, "I still do not support piracy," which is odd considering what he's doing. So do not use this library for pirated copies. He also confirmed that if he found a way to keep Revive's core functionality without bypassing security checks and allowing for the piracy, well, then he would implement it. So he's trying to find a way to not do it this way. But now that it's out there, I have a feeling someone else is going to pick it up and, do what we do. This is the internet after all.
True.
It's kind of sad. When Revive was first released, Oculus told IGN, quote, "This is a hack. We do not condone it. Users should expect that hack games won't work indefinitely, as regular software updates to games, apps, and our platform are likely to break this hacked software." It's likely that, again, the company will now seek to counter this latest loophole sooner rather than later. This is a never-ending fight, though. I don't know.
This is cool. So this guy, or these guys, made something. So they said, okay, this game is Oculus exclusive, so we'll hack around that, and now you can play it on your HTC Vive. And then Oculus was like, oh, we don't like that. Let's implement this new fucking security measure. And then the only way that these fucking Revive guys could get around this was like, okay, well, if you're going to block it this way, we have to take out the whole check for the software to see if it's pirated. So now you've shot yourself by trying to stop whatever percentage of the people that were playing the Vive were still had to buy it at least. Like, it wasn't like they could steal it. So they were buying your Oculus game. They just weren't buying your headset. So now you've opened it up to a full level of piracy where now someone can just have the Vive headset and steal all your Oculus games. Now you're getting no money at all. It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's a shame because this is one of those situations where I feel bad for Oculus. One of the things that Oculus has going for it right now, if you look at all of the reviews, a lot of the reviews are leaning a little bit more towards the Vive. Well, mainly because the Vive has the full motion VR, which Oculus doesn't have.
Has two sensors also.
With the controllers, which again Oculus does not have. So there's a lot going for the Vive. What's not going for it is then you pay an extra $200 for it. It's an $800 piece of equipment, and it's actually bulkier and it's not as nice. I will be fair to Oculus in saying it's not as nice. However, one of the things the Oculus has going for it is the launch titles are markedly better. Most reviewers are saying, experience-wise, the Oculus wins out because it has a lot of amazing first-party games and even more on the way than what Vive has. Yep. So that's a big thing for them. So I see why they want to be so feverish about this and why they want to run this check and why they're trying so hard. Because it's the one thing they have going for them. And if we want to see VR do well, we need to have both of these things, right? We need to have the Vive, we need to have the Oculus, we need any piece of VR.
Ideally, they would all be running the same things. That's how
parity would have helped.
Yes,
parity would absolutely have helped, and it's a shame it hasn't. But bearing that in mind, if you're an Oculus guy and you paid the money, I do believe you have the right to play your game and no one else does. I know it sounds weird. I feel like an old man now, but I do. I know. Well, because it's
like a narc.
Here's why. Because the Oculus really is what set the standard for VR. There really would be no Vive if there was no Oculus. Now, that's not a reason to say that they should get to do whatever they want, but they're legally within their rights to make sure it cannot be played on another system. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. So it's a shame because they put so much effort into this. Without the Kickstarter, without the one guy in his garage building this thing.
Fucking Palmer Luckey crushed it.
It never happened. Yep. So I feel for them, and I hope that stuff like this gets shut down. Now, if I had a Vive, I would probably be singing a different tune because I would want to play those games. I still, by the way, have not decided which one I'm going to buy. So I'm not a fanboy towards either one. It's really money and tech versus lower cost and getting it right away. I'm in between. I almost bought the Vive again yesterday. If you guys have been listening to me, I literally every week will have one of those pages open. I will be on the buy now button, and then I will close it out. So eventually I'm going to get one. I don't know when, but I'll let you guys know. But yeah, this is I don't know. What do you think?
I'm a big fan of the Revive guys. I think this is great because I feel like Oculus, once they finalized the headset and they knew that HTC had something that was much better coming out, and they decided instead of improving their hardware and iterating one more time, they were like, all right, we'll just lock in all of these titles as exclusive titles. And everybody hates exclusivity. It hurts everybody except for the companies that are part of the exclusivity deal. Just like all the Destiny exclusives hurt the game players. They only help Sony and they only help Bungie. It's the same thing here. So I'm a big fan of circumventing these exclusivity things. And I think that HTC has a better headset. I've used both. I've used both multiple times. And I really feel it's a superior product. So you know what? Either you get your head out of your ass and work together, or people are going to keep finding a way around your shit. It's all there is to it.
Man, it's a good conversation. Because my thing with that is I agree with what you're saying. However, in order to keep a market stable and have VR excel, we need both of these guys to survive. Having one come out the winner is not good for anyone.
Yeah.
It means the prices will only get higher, and they'll be able to dictate the software that they use. So in a way, the reason I don't like this, I agree, it sucks. But this is, again, one of the things that Oculus has over the Vive. And so we need that to give people a reason to want to buy the Oculus and be involved in the Oculus's universe so that they play off of each other. Oculus goes back and maybe does create better hardware. We already know they're going to have the touch controllers out, which will bring a lot of parity, which, by the way, will also bring another sensor to the mix, which will then, it'll be the same as the Vive. It'll be no different. We need those things because we need reasons for people to buy one, and we need fanboys. It's so weird to say that, but The
I guess
world needs fanboys, but the world needs people to buy blindly and without reason, just because they like the brand better, because that creates the brand wars, which then drives technology and creates better.
Plus, you just need early adopters. That's the other thing.
Right.
It's the whole reason why Tesla has worked, because Tesla started out with the Roadster. It cost so much fucking money, but they had enough people that bought the Roadster that then they could afford to make the Model S. And then they made the Model S, and it was still super expensive, but not as expensive. And they sold that to a whole new base of people, which helped them fund the next iteration, which is this new cheap Tesla that's coming out next year. So it's the same thing. You need people to be in there. You need people to find the technology exciting and worth their money. And by funding that technology, you're funding the next generation of technology that's better and cheaper.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's arguably one of the main reasons I'm buying the product. I don't actually believe I'm going to get a ton of use out of my VR, but I don't care, because I'm one of the types of people out there that really buys it to help drive them. I want VR to be amazing. I want the goggles that you see to be the size of these glasses that you see. And the only way we're going to get there is if people are super into it, buy it, support the marketplace, and try to get more people to actually use the product. So I'm all for it because of the future that I want to see, not necessarily because I think VR is right now the end all be all. I think it needs to be driven by money, like all things in this country are, and really this world are. And that's the only way we're going to see cool shit happen. So, if it's something you like, spend some money on it, buy it, bring it home, use it. You know what I mean? Tell your friends about it.
Show your friends. Exactly.
Yeah. Derek, what do you think about this story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over to the mailbag and voicemails? Altius asks, do you think that the ESA's announcement of E3 Live was in direct response to certain companies no longer seeing value in a media-only show like E3? Yes.
Absolutely. No question.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes. This is the end around way to say, okay, Activision, you didn't want to come. EA, you didn't want to come. But guess what? Now we have all these consumers here. Just like when you guys take all your shit over to PAX and PAX East and PAX South, we have all those guys here. Now you don't have a presence here. Maybe you should have a presence here. No, come on, come back.
Yeah, it's absolutely a ploy to get them to come back home. I mean, that's really what it is. Because again, the whole value system there was a little screwy, because it was like, well, why do we really need media people come? Media doesn't matter anymore in the sense of like, no one needs to have boots on the ground to get an idea across like they used to.
Yep. Yep.
And so the idea was like, well, why don't we just go direct to consumer? We'll have our own events that we do throughout the year. And, So now they're saying, well, you don't even have to do that. We brought all of them here too. So now you can do the media thing at the same time that you shove your video game down the throats of the people that are going to end up actually buying it. So, but again, I am totally against this. I think it's the wrong move. But I definitely know why they're doing it. And yes, it is 100% because of PAX and all the other things. It is the money that it costs to do it, as well as the other million conventions around the globe every goddamn weekend that are eating into their bottom dollar. And they want more people to come up. So this is an easy and efficient way to do it.
You know what? If E3 was in Las Vegas and they held this in Las Vegas, that's a big enough city with enough places to hold stuff that this might work. But Los Angeles is not the place for this. The convention center has already been, it's shrinking. They already have the 2 halls. There's no space. The hotel space is at a premium. There's not enough places to eat. There's not enough places to go. Everything's crowded. But if you move this to Vegas and you put actual E3 in the Las Vegas Convention Center, and then you start using some of these hotels' giant ballrooms for your side projects like this, maybe that works. But
I agree. Actually, I've been saying this for a lot of years. I would love for E3 to get the fuck out of LA. It is not meant for this.
No.
And if you guys remember, a long, long time ago, it was actually in Atlanta. I want to think like 5 years. I can't remember. I think the first year I went was the first year it was in LA after it had been in Atlanta. And I want to say that was 1990. I don't know. I'll look it up.
It was like 2005.
It was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
But in either case, at least in Atlanta, believe it or not, they have a huge convention. It's a city that's really great for conventions. It's easy to get into, easy to get out of. LA is a clusterfuck beyond all recognition. It's insane. To get in and out of the city is the worst experience of your life. And again, I think Las Vegas, perfect for it. Totally perfect for it. It's what they do. Those are the places this should be. And again, this might be better for them, like Derek's saying. If they want to do this, it's fine because there's enough space to do it.
Yeah, look at the CES. CES blows away the size of E3, and that's not a problem.
No.
No,
and at the time, CES was doing it at the same time as the Adult Film Industry Awards at the same time. No problem.
You go there, look at TVs and mingle with porn stars.
Yeah, that's how it was for. No longer that way, but it's but they did it for years and years and years.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. This is one of the things that bums me out. I'm sad that they're doing it. I think it's really a bad move. I think it dilutes the brand of what E3 is and the prestige of getting into E3. Yeah. It's a bummer, and it's kind of shitty. I
agree. Yeah, because E3 is the hardest ticket to get. And then, well, even go beyond that. Then your press events are even harder than getting an E3. But that's neither here nor there. Either way, it dilutes the brand, and you're correct.
Exactly. All we're saying is the Adult Industry Awards should be done at the same time as E3, and that should be in Las Vegas. That's all we're saying.
Yep, that's all we're saying. Yep, do it up.
Do it up.
All right. Well, if any of you have great questions like Altius, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment on this episode's thread in the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors, remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help support Still Got Game. Think Geek. You're going to shop there anyway, so go to tooltoplay.com/geek and do all your Think Geek shopping. You get the best deals possible. And the Craft Beer Club. You like craft beer? You want to get yourself a beer in the month subscription? You want to get ones for someone else? You want to get some free pint glasses as part of the deal? You want to only do it for a month? You want to do it for 6 months? You want to do it for a year? Doesn't matter. Go to tooltoplay.com/beer and sign up. You'll get all your free shit and the best deals possible. So that's tooltoplay.com/geek and tooltoplay.com/beer. And if you want to sponsor us, give us a call, 773-527-2961. You tell us what you're selling. We're telling you what you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/tool-to-play. Everything podcast related at twitter.com/still_got_game. I, king of the internet, got everything. It's fucking holy at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And you can find me at twitter.com/DudeIRock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/tool-to-play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeIRock.
We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/tool-to-play. That's the place to find all of Tool to Play's archive video content, whether it's this show, whether it's quick hits, any of our one-off shows or any of our archive live streaming. It'll all show up in our YouTube channel. So go there, youtube.com/tool-to-play, and subscribe. We also need you to rate and review this podcast in iTunes. Go there in iTunes, search up Still Got Game, give us 5 stars. And if you're so inclined, write a little something nice. The show's awesome. I love the hosts. They're so handsome. Whatever you want to write. But make sure you get the 5 stars first and then write a little blurb about us if you can. But if you can't, the 5 stars is fine, but we'd prefer you actually write something. And we also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/tool-to-play. That is where our live audience here that's been communicating with us nonstop, that's where the live shows happen. We go here, Still Got Game happens there. We stream tons of games to twitch.tv/tool-to-play. So you can go there, enjoy it. You know, there's a subscribe button and a follow button. You definitely want to follow us, but if you can, click the subscribe button because that's how you directly support the show. Our sponsors are important, but that goes through our sponsors and then back to us. So if you want to directly support us, go there and subscribe, twitch.tv/tool-to-play. And before we wrap up, I want to remind you, you can join us each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/tool-to-play. And on that, why don't we wrap this producerless episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel Dude I Rock Albers.
Hitman bailed on us.
Canada for the loss.